Welcome, listeners, to the first ever episode of Free Game Fridays, brought to you by the Banquet Hall podcast. I am your host, as usual, Kyler Nathan, and I am joined by a familiar face of the pod, the first three-time guest of the Banquet Hall, and the first guest of Free Game Friday, the one and only Jay from Black Beauty Near You. Jay, how you doing today?
I'm good. It was giving like a pew, 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 pew moment.
Low key was. I don't know. I kind of just expected the pew pews to go off. Like I feel like that's the energy that we rocking with.
Yes, I love this. And as you know, I love Banquet Hall Pod. It's Jay here. I am the owner of Black Beauty Near You. And yeah, I'm excited to start Free Game Fridays. I'm looking forward to hearing how y'all like it. And yeah, episode 1, you know how we do. Gotta start the pilots with Black Beauty Near You.
Right, that's the Banquet Hall way, the first lady of the Banquet Hall. But Free Game Fridays, this is an idea that I had pitched to Jaida, just because want to get some more content out there for y'all to listen to besides just interviews. And the idea of Free Game Fridays was to give us an opportunity to just talk to y'all about the game, like any advice that y'all might need, things that we've done in our lives, mistakes we've made, things we wish we would have done differently. Just it's in the title. It's Free Game. It's gonna come out on a Friday, and hopefully get something from it.
Exactly. That's pretty much it.
That is pretty much it. But these are going to be a little bit on the shorter side of episodes. It's going to be a podcast that comes out when we feel like it, but we're going to give you all the game that we have. For those of y'all who this is your first episode of the Banquet Hall that you're listening to, make sure you tap all the way back into episode 1. Hear Jay talk a little bit more about Black Beauty Near You, learn about the ins and outs of that. Then you can tap into Jaida talking about business besties. And then you can go back to episode 2 and just listen to everybody that's been on the Banquet Hall. Just tap in. And not only tap into the Banquet Hall, but I would be amiss if I didn't also plug 4 Deep Pod. 4 Deep, the sister podcast of the Banquet Hall, damn near. We got to plug each other's stuff. They recently did an IG live that was very successful, and I'm looking forward to season 2. And I know that y'all are looking forward to season 2 as well.
Yes, we actually start recording next week, and we drop our first episode next Friday. So I'm excited. Can't believe season 2. Like what? It was literally just an idea. Now we're in season 2. But yeah, so super excited. And yeah, tap into 4D Pod, y'all, while y'all at it.
Yeah, tap in while you're at it. But for today's episode of Free Game Fridays, we just got a few questions that we kind of drafted together that I want to go through related to being business people, entrepreneurs, CEOs, SHEOs, whatever you want to call it. And we just want to just share some experiences for any of the aspiring entrepreneurs out there, just to give y'all some of the game and from our perspective. And at the end of the day, are we the most expert of expert people? Kinda, but no.
Yeah. A little bit. We know a little something, but do not come running to me saying, "Oh, you said." I'm sorry. I'm out here learning too.
We all are out here learning, lifting as we climb. But the first thing that we kind of wanted to start with was starting. Like, I feel like there's always ideation phase of anything that you're going to get into. I feel like there's people who always have like ideas of stuff they want to see. Maybe they had a dream, they had a vision, somebody sparked some inspiration in them, but it's the like, where do I get started? I feel like that's the question that comes up so frequently. So what advice would you give for someone who has an idea and they're trying to get that idea off the ground?
Yeah, my thing first, okay, we're gonna skip all the fluff, like, okay, think about the idea, blah, blah, blah. You like it, you want to start the business. Okay, first things first, don't worry about that. Okay, worry about LLC, DBA, all that good stuff. DBA is doing business as, it's like, I'm not gonna get too deep into those descriptions, but it's like a pre-version before LLC. Less work, a little less work. Before you even get into all of that, make an Instagram, make a TikTok, make a Facebook, and get a logo. You do not have to pay somebody else to do your logo. I promise you better hop on Canva, get them skills together, and throw a little one too. There's a lot of videos on TikTok that like will give you Canva hacks. So if you want something to look cool, if you want a cute font, you can find it on there. And yeah, and if you don't have Canva Premium, you need to get Canva Premium. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need to pay for nothing else. Just start that Instagram and don't, even when it comes to like if you're selling something, don't even worry about like inventory or anything of that sort. Just start telling them about what your business is going to be about. Start talking about relatable topics, just get going, get something going, get some followers going, and then you'll start, getting the groove of things. But trying to do too much at once, you're never going to start because you're going to want to perfect everything. And so, yeah, just get that Instagram, that TikTok. You can honestly just have an Instagram wherever you want to start. Instagram, logo, Canva Premium, boom, get going. And
That's
yeah,
free game right there.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Like how for Banquet Hall Pod, what did you do? Like you had an idea and then what you just like was like, I'm gonna just start it. How did that go?
Yeah, I literally that I hit you up first of all. I was like,
Right.
hey, I've been thinking about doing this podcast. Would this be of interest to you? And I think that's a big question that listeners, y'all can start asking people, because you have this idea, you building your account out. You got to see if the interest is there too. And the people that you're interested in talking to, like in using a podcast, for example, I hit you up, pitched the idea to you. You thought it was an idea that you could rock with. Wanted to come on the podcast for the first episode. And then, like you said, I was like, all right, well, Jaida says she'll do it. Now I need something for her to do. So I use Photoshop just because I've had plenty of experience with Photoshop designing like logos and whatnot. And I feel like it gives me a little bit more like granular control over some of the images and graphics I'm creating. But I definitely reiterate, like going on Canva, using Canva, it's very easy to use. There's plenty of content out there to help you get there. But yeah, just started getting dirty with Photoshop, figuring out what I wanted the look of it to feel like. And then the IG page, start following people. I'm like, let people know what you're doing. Because I think that when you really start with ideas and start with this, what can you do today? Creating an Instagram account takes a few seconds. Like,
it's really nothing.
Really nothing. Figure out what you want it to be called. Make sure the name's available. Put your email down, and now you have an Instagram account. It don't matter if you have 0 followers for a week, you have that Instagram account. And I think that's one of the big things, is that once you take care of these little steps, now it's already made. Like, you're already out there. You just gotta keep going and keep growing.
Yeah. Now you have a place for people to go. Like when you start telling people about your business, okay, like how can I keep up? Oh, I got an Instagram. You don't have to be like, well, you can text my phone. Like, no, you already got something. So yeah, that's so true. Yeah, pretty much. Just get started. Just do it. You can always change your Instagram name. You can always change your logo. And oh yeah, like how you said, like, let people know what you're doing. Don't make the Instagram. Yeah, follow other people. Like follow people that's a good start. And also like post about it. Don't be scared. Like let people know what you got going on. It is a big hump to get over. Like even though like me personally, after doing this for a few years now, I always post about Black Beauty Near You on my story, but we went live for 4 Deep the other day, and it was 4 of us, and so we can't. Instagram don't have a feature where you can all 4 hop on a live from the same account, so we had to use our personal account. I'm like, ooh, like that means everybody gonna get a notification that I'm going live before Deep. Like, what the heck? Who's gonna see this? And it's like, girl, you post about everything every day. I think just because 4 Deep is so new. And it is real raw. Like it's us on there talking about whatever. And so it was new. But once you get over it, like we had a blast on the live. It was a great time. So yeah, you just gotta do it. Put yourself out there and all that good stuff.
So that's action item 1 for the podcast. If you got an idea out there that you rocking with, I don't care if you want to sell shirts, if you want to make a book, if you want to do a podcast, get the IG out there. And the biggest thing is telling stories. That's kind of what started the Banquet Hall. Like I wanted people to have a platform to tell their stories, because especially I feel in the day and age we're in with social media, if I don't understand your why or your mission, I don't know if I need to rock with you, because there's 30,000 other things I could rock with. And that's what I really appreciate about Black Beauty Near You, because your content's like, hey, you a Black student at a PWI? I got you. You a Black student at PWI? Right. I got you. Like it's very clear like what you're doing, why you're doing it. You have your story involved in what you're doing. So tell your story out there, get out there, put yourself on live. It's okay. We're in everybody's posting it on social media. Nobody's about to judge you
Right.
for going on live. Like do your thing.
Okay. Facts. And shout out to Whitney Chanel. Like I was just telling her the other day, I can't talk about marketing Black Beauty Near You without talking about her, because I've had a couple meetings with her and she just be dropping gems. And I mean, like, what she be telling me to do, it be working. Like, she just don't be talking. And so yeah, like, she will get you all the way together. And yeah, she's the one who also reminded me, like, okay, you posted about your why a few times, like, and post it again. Like, everybody in the world did not see that post, so let's make it again and have more people show. And it's gone to show, like, definitely I gain more traction when I'm telling people about what Black Beauty Near You is compared to other posts, or if I'm posting something that's more relatable to Black students who go to PWIs compared to if I'm talking about, oh, I sell this, or, you know, you have to really connect to your audience. And I think that goes into one of our other questions we have about how do you figure out who's the right audience to target. Think about what you're doing and what kind of people like what you're doing. And so literally when I was doing my rebrand with my friend Kamora, she had me break down like the one person, the ideal person of my audience. What do they look like? What are their hobbies? What is their name? How is their hair? How do they dress? What do they like to do? And let that be your ideal person. And then that'll help you figure out what kind of content you want to make. I know that for example, Black Beauty Near You, my ideal audience member would be a Black girl. She goes to a PWI. She's a STEM major. She likes to get her hair done. She does what she needs to do in the classroom, but she also likes to go out and have fun and get cute. So that's like a little gist. And so now I'm like, okay, well, I can post about, you know, a funny TikTok about going to parties, because that's, you know, what people in my audience like to do. I could also post a funny TikTok about stressing about an OChem class, because that's what my target audience, you know, can relate to. And so yeah, when you figure out who the right audience is, that's how you're going to start gaining traction. It's like what you said, Kyler, when you're posting about stuff, you're telling your story, and you want to actually like ask around, like, does this interest you? Can you relate to this? And the people who you're getting yeses from, it's like, okay, what do you like to do? Let me post about it. Let me make content around that. And that also really helps with figuring out what kind of content to make instead of just selling in people's faces all the time.
Exactly, because
So,
people don't want you to just sell stuff to them all the time. Like that's capitalism, and that's where I get annoyed. Like, all right, I know you make this damn shirt. I don't want to buy the shirt right now.
I don't want it.
I don't even know your last name. You're trying to show me the same Polo Club shirt that say Black Power on it. There's 50,000 of them on Etsy. Who are you?
Man, for real. That's so true. Like, even like with your podcast, it's like, okay, like there's so many podcasts out. Why do I want to listen? And then you hear about the mission, like, oh, yeah, he putting his people on. He telling us, like, you see commercials now with the homies in. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm tapping in, compared to some random podcast that's probably now AI generated. You know, people starting to do that kind of stuff. That's a whole another topic.
Yeah, that's another free game Friday. But
right.
related to podcasts, one of the things that I think is also important when you're figuring out the right audience to target, it's also important to know who you're not targeting. Because when it comes to podcasting, and I'll even use poetry books as an example too, I feel like when I was first starting out as a poet and I came out with my first poetry book, I just wanted everybody to support me, because I'm like, oh, like y'all, you're my friends, you're going to support me. But what I found out was I'm trying to get people to buy a poetry book who don't be reading.
Speak on it.
And it's like, yeah, they might buy the book, but if I want people to really engage with the poetry book, I need to find people who are reading poetry books. If I want people to engage in podcasts, I need to see people who are already listening to podcasts. So when I'm talking to friends and whatnot, they're like, yeah, like I just love listening to podcasts. I always do it on the ride. I'm like, oh, like, have you checked out my podcast or 4 Deep or any of the homies podcasts? Because that's where you really find like who your people are, and then you get to know those people. Like, okay, you listen to podcasts, what podcasts do you listen to? You see the podcast they listen to, like, oh, this is a niche, like that podcasts feel for you, because not everybody
Mm-hmm.
wants to listen to every type of podcast. And I think
That's
that
true too.
when people have a specific idea of what a podcast is or what Black Beauty Near You might be, you need to make sure that the vision they have in their head matches. Because speaking for myself
Mm-hmm.
as a Black male doing a podcast, especially when I'm trying to pitch a podcast to like women, I'm like, all right, listen,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of them podcasts.
Right? No, for real. Like, y'all, I promise this is not that, okay? Because when you hear a Black man with a mic, it's like,
I know.
okay.
I know. I'd be so
But you
hesitant
beating
to
the
tell people.
allegations. You beating them. You beating them.
Thank you. I appreciate that affirmation. But I think along with finding the right audience to target, I think that even when you know what your niche might be, you know what you want to do, you know what your story is, sometimes the support just doesn't come right away. Like maybe you start your Instagram
Mm-hmm.
page and you have like 10 or 15 followers and you want it to grow and it doesn't happen instantaneously. And I think that that's where a lot of people fall off from pursuing their passion, because they don't get the instant gratification of, okay, people are supporting this, people like
Yeah.
this. So I think when you look back at maybe even starting Four Deep or starting Black Beauty Near You, when you're first like trying to get people to engage, how did you
Mm-hmm.
keep going when it wasn't immediately there?
Crown Ellen, Bay Area, a proud sponsor of the Banquet Hall podcast. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Yeah, even like recently, probably these like past few months, like getting building the community is one thing. And that's why I have to notice like building the community and making sales.
Two
Very,
completely different
very,
things.
very, very, very separate things. Okay. But then I had to take a step back and it's like, okay, what do I want to focus on right now? What's important to me? And so yeah, like during the summer, it's like nobody's gonna be buying no PWI related type stuff. So let's tap into community. Let's build that. People are on their phones during the summer. So let's take advantage of that. And so, you know, having to redirect your focus at times can help. But yeah, even if you aren't getting the support that you wanted, like Kyler said, I know at some point it's like you expect like the people, your friends and stuff to like support you. But why would my friends in LA who have beauty supplies at every corner pay extra to get their stuff delivered? Like, you know, sometimes it don't make sense. And they were supporting me, but I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting it from them because that don't make sense. I mean, even sometimes when I go home, I go to the beauty supply at the corner because it's easier.
It's
And
right there.
so, yeah, exactly. And I'm not at home, so I don't have my stuff with me. So I'm gonna go down the street. But yeah, that's so big. Like you, although like your family and your friends can support you in so many other ways. If you need a break from work, go out to dinner, have fun with that. You need somebody to vent to, do that. But like expecting people to buy your stuff all the time, like, no, that's, you know, that shouldn't be your expectation. Okay, it's one thing if it's like, okay, like I sell this one thing and you always buying it from somebody else and you know I got it. That's something different. But you know, don't expect too much from like family or friends in that sense, because you know sometimes it's not realistic. That's not your audience. And so you have to tap into like your why, like Kyler was saying, into why you should keep going. The amount of followers and the amount of engagement, or maybe the amount of sales may not be adding up to what you want it to, but you know that the people that you do have on your side, they're benefiting from what you're putting out. So like for example, like Jaida, she has Green Line Planner. And you know, maybe all the time, even if what can I say? For example, even if maybe the planners aren't selling, she knows that she's dropping tips and people are following and learning so much from her TikToks and her real videos. So, you know, things are still going. So sometimes you really got to redirect and then focus on your why. Like for Black Beauty Near You, I'm here to help people get through the PWI experience. So maybe that may not be them buying a braid kit or them buying braided hair, but you know, I dropped this tip that helps them for when it's time to move in, and they found it really helpful, and now their moving process is easier. You know, just focusing on, but you have to know your why, you have to know your audience, and yeah, let that keep you going, because there's gonna be some times where you're gonna be like, hey, it's not looking too up, But just keep going, especially if you have you need to have confidence in your business and what you're doing. That'll help you keep going as well. You gotta stand 10 toes down on your business, okay?
10 toes down for real, because that why is just so important. And I also always try to push people to be critical about what your why is and very reflective on it, because when people complain like, oh, well, this only got 10 views, I'm like, oh, but I thought you wanted to create this video to help people. They're like, yeah, but I'm trying to monetize. I'm like, so is your why to make money off of this, or are you trying to help
Hello.
people? Because those are two different things. And sometimes a mission to just help people or just to put content out there, it's not going to get 1 million views on TikTok immediately, especially if you're not consistent with it, if you're not like really grinding it out. But consistency is key.
Because this is key. Like, and it will show you, like, when you are more consistent, you'll see how, supporters will continue to come and stuff. Yeah, that's a big one. You got to be consistent. Don't stop. Keep it going. Nobody's saying you got to post 5 times a day. That's probably actually too much.
Yeah.
Don't burn yourself out. And you don't want people to get tired of seeing your posts, but be consistent in whatever you're doing. Have some kind of routine or rhythm or process, or yeah, for sure. Dang, I was gonna say something else, but I completely forgot. But I know it'll come back up. It's gonna have to come back up. But yeah, definitely be consistent.
And I think that in trying to get that consistency, like, it gets tiring. Like, I think that one of the biggest things that inspired Free Game Fridays too was just letting people in behind the curtain, because I think when people see people who are successful or what they deem as successful, they're like, oh, like, it must be so easy for you, like you're doing this and this. Like, nah, dog, I'm tired.
I am stressed.
Yeah, this shit is stressful. I appreciate that. I always tell people when they're like, oh, like, you really doing it big. Oh, like, I'm so happy the brand looked that way.
Yes.
Tyler brand
I need to start
working.
saying that.
That's what I tell people all the time.
It's hard over here. But no, that's good.
So
yeah.
It's so hard. So the other question that we had was just fighting through those feelings of imposter syndrome or general fatigue just in that day in and day out. And even before we started recording this episode, I was talking about how this is my 3rd episode recording of today. I was like, oh yeah, I am tired. But it goes back to that why. Like, do I really want to do this? Do I want to put the content out there? But also talking towards consistency, sometimes you just got to grind it out so the rest of the week is a little easier, because now I have 3 episodes that I've recorded, and now I'm not spending 3 weeks trying to find episodes to record.
Yes, that's real. Yeah, because Instagram, honestly, Instagram acting a little funny with their scheduled posting, so I'm not even gonna promote that. But having that content ready to go whenever you're ready is so helpful. I mean, like, create it, write a cute little caption, grab a caption that you already made, throw it on there, and now you're good. Like, those downtime moments where you're not really doing anything and you feel relaxed and you feel like, okay, I can do a little something right now, just get it out the way, whether it be actually creating the graphics or just writing down ideas for when you do create the graphics. So yeah, getting that stuff out the way is very helpful. And as far as like fighting through imposter syndrome, like I said, it's just really standing 10 toes down and like that idea. And like, if people don't believe in it, or like I said, you're not getting the traction that you want, just know that, or find a way to be confident in your mission, and make sure your mission is something that you can be 10 toes down in. Because if somebody comes and is like, okay, like, what are you doing? You don't want to be like, oh, well, I do this kind of, no, now you need to be like, yeah, I run Black Beauty Near You. I help make PWI college students' lives easier. Be
value proposition.
Right. Okay. Be confident in it in whatever you're doing. Because it's making an impact, and that's really what has helped get me through. And also not comparing myself to others. Because I don't know what they got going on. I don't know if they're paying for their followers. I don't know if they're paying for ads. Maybe they got grants coming in where they can help
you never know.
them have. like so much inventory. Maybe they already got the plug in their family that's helping, like so many things. Some people like me, I didn't grow up really too much. Well, my parents, they are entrepreneurs, but also like they went to work, they did their 9 to 5 as well. So I know people who grew up with parents who own multiple businesses and stuff like that. And so, they had that advice starting off. So you really never know what other people are doing. So don't compare yourself. Like my mom, she always tells me comparison is the killer of dreams. And we don't have time for that. Just focus on what you got going on, be confident in your goals, and take it as it is. And I like to tell people, if you have downtime, take advantage of that, because once things get rolling, like they be rolling. And so, okay. And so when you got some downtime, take advantage of it. Use that time to plan, use that time to relax, use that time to reevaluate whatever. So when it is go time, when that video does go viral, you have the means in place. Cause I've heard, what's his name? I think it's Marty Woodward. I follow him on social media. He drops a lot of gems. And he said a lot of places where businesses fall off is, they're consistent, they're posting, they go viral, and then they can't keep up with the sales, or they can't retain the people. And so like getting past that hump is, that's what's going to help you become more successful. So when you're in those downtimes, prepare your business for when that time does come, when those sales do start rolling in, when that big opportunity comes up, you're ready and you're ready to go. So yeah, don't let nobody take you down. And if also, like, people like, oh, somebody already does that. Like if you sell hair, oh, somebody already does that. That's when you gotta tap into your why. Okay, but they don't do it like I do. Like my best friend, she sells one of my best friends, she does hair. Okay, everybody does hair. Okay, and both of their businesses are named after their babies, and they take pride in the styles that they know how. Like I'll go to my best friend who does hair, if I ask her for some individuals, no, I don't do that. But I know she can slay a ponytail. She'll get your weave right and tight, okay? And even my other bestie, she sells hair. Okay, everybody sells hair. Okay, but I also sell bonnets and scrunchies, and they got my baby's face on it. What about that? I'm making sure this money is going towards, helping fund her life so she's successful, gonna pass it down. When you have that wine, it's like, okay.
It's the why. It's the why for real.
Yes. I feel like that's really the main thing, tapping into that. And so don't let nobody knock you down. Don't look at other people and be like, oh, somebody's already doing it. They ain't doing it like you. Okay. So yeah, that's my big thing. And yeah, fatigue is gonna get tiring.
It's gonna get tiring. And I think the only thing I would add to just you probably dropped like 72 gems in that. I don't even know if they heard you. They gonna have to hit the rewind okay. 15 seconds a few times. But one, I would say affirm the little things that you're doing for your business or your passion or whatever endeavor you're on. Because whether you're just sitting on the couch thinking about what you want to do, or if you're like coming up with ideas, maybe you message somebody and talk to them about what you're doing. Like that's all stuff you're doing, working towards your business and towards your creative passion. So I think the more that you're able to affirm all the steps that you are taking along the journey, the easier it is to fight through feelings of imposter syndrome. Because like, I have done a lot. I have posted consistently this week. I did edit this video when I wanted to edit it. And the last thing I'll say, and we'll probably close out the episode with this one because we got to save some game for another Friday. But tap in with your community, tap in with your folks. Like if you have people who are doing similar things as you, if you have people that, even if you don't necessarily know them, but if you follow them on social media and they dropping gems and stuff that can relate to what you're doing, that can really affirm and validate like, okay, well, I was listening to this podcast that got 1 million views and they talking about how tired they are too. Like, or like I'll text you or I'll text Cambria like, man, like I'm so tired of posting marketing content for the podcast. Like, man, same. Like we just got done recording. We tired. Like just being able to tap in and feed in with people who are running a similar pathway, running a similar lane with you. It just means the most in the long run because you have people who understand what you're doing. They understand the grind. They understand your why. And they're going to validate you and remind you like, yeah, like this shit's hard, but when it gets hard, hit me up real quick, pump your head back up and then get right back to the grind.
Yes. Okay. Preach on that. You said it. Tap into your community, love on them, use your resources. You can't do everything alone. Don't do that. Don't do that. I've been there and I learned real quick real fast. Well, actually, not real quick, but I've learned that tapping into other people and resources will make your life 10 times easier for sure.
10 times easier for sure. Well, I would say that was an excellent first episode of Free Game Friday. Listeners, y'all got some gems we didn't even know we was gonna give y'all today.
Right. They just be rolling off the tongue.
They just be rolling off the tongue. But that's why I fuck with people like Jaida, because it's like, hey, here's the idea. You rock with the idea. Cool. Let's make it happen. We hopped on this Zoom meeting. We got it done. And hopefully, listeners, y'all gain some insights on this, gain some ideas. And I hope whoever's listening to this, whatever that thing is that you're like, maybe should I do it? What if it doesn't work? Just try it out. Make the Instagram page. Hit us up in the DMs. Hit DM the Banquet Hall your idea, and we'll give you some free game on your idea. That's my action item for y'all. Like, hit us up with whatever idea you sitting on. We're gonna turn this podcast into a whole little lab to market incubator for business ideas and young entrepreneurs. We're gonna have our Shark Tank pitch meetings. The ideas just be rolling.
No, because it is my problem now. Like, Jaida, why are you tired? This is why. Because I can't sit down. Why. I can't sit down and just sit down and watch TV. No, we got ideas going. We got to get them done. But yeah, I'm here for it all. I'm here for it all too. Listeners, follow Banquet Hall Pod on social media. Jaida, where can they find Black Beauty Near You? You can follow Black Beauty Near You on Instagram. It's literally Black Beauty Near You. It's the same on TikTok. And if you're a Twitter bird like me, you can follow us at BB Near You. And yeah, we're also on Facebook if that's your flavor. Also on there. And yeah, if you have any questions, literally just DM any of the pages. It's just me. It's just me. So don't feel intimidated because it's just me answering. So yeah, that's where you can find Black Beauty Near You.
Awesome. Listeners, we expect in the DMs, expect some voice memos. Let us know the questions that y'all have. We get the Free Game Fridays rolling, and we here to help y'all. We trying to lift as we climb here, and we gonna start climbing, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all next episode.